Hey everyone. Yeah, as you see that I don't know how to make a intro because basically I'm just reading your story comments because I've heard some of you guys like to hear my voice and that makes me kind of happy. So, uh let's let's do it. Okay, so I was trying to get rock at the beach for my aunt and I didn't see a big wave coming. I'm pretty sure I passed out. I was like 6 or 7. I turned to see if anyone saw, and my aunt is just talking with my family members, plus my mom and dad. My cousin was the only one that saw. I'm scared for finding rocks for anyone now. Oh gee, that must have been terrifying, huh? Well, hopefully you're recovering from that. I helped a kitten once. Next day it came back but with 3 more kittens. Next day it came with 2 big cats, and now I'm opening a cafe for kittens and cats. Yesterday a kitten came but with a puppy. Now I have both cat and dog food in my kitchen for them. That's very wholesome to hear. Hopefully your cafe goes well. One day during school, I had been on my way down to lunch around 12:45, since that was when we needed to go down. We were mid-stairway until the speakers came on and said, "Attention all staff and students, this is not a drill, we are going into lockdown." My whole grade stopped midway in frozen fear. We had been across the building from our classroom and all that was around were little offices and we were all started panicking. The teacher's walkie-talkie went off and she yelled to us, "Keep going to the lunchroom, guys." Of course we thought she had completely lost it but obliged and kept walking. We got to the lunchroom and they told us to sit on the upper level. My lunchroom is level, so we sat up there and ate lunch in fear. The teachers could see our discomfort and our male teacher yelled out, "It's a coyote, guys, just eat already." We sat there dumbfounded because it's actually turned out to be the coyote outside the building. If I was ever in that situation and see a coyote outside of my school, I think I'd be just crying my butt off. Like, of course. One day I was playing with my best friend outside with her hoverboard. It was my turn, so I went back and forth and I started going really fast and I fell off it. The back of my hand was bloody, so were my knees, but I landed on my face and my mom thought my face would be all bloody too. It wasn't, but if it was, I would have a cool scar, or my face would look terrible. Anyways, it took me like 2 weeks to recover and it took my best friend a year to stop apologizing for something she didn't do. Oh, I see. That must have been really painful though. But hey, luckily you recovered, right? And it's good to hear that, so hope you're doing okay right now. One time, I gave myself a haircut. It did not end up well. Oh, yeah, I feel you there. I remember in first grade, my mother gave me a haircut. I had short hair and bangs. When I went to school, I sat down at the lunch tables because every kid was required to come into the cafeteria every morning and eat breakfast if they hadn't already. So I sat at the first lunch table because I was one of the early kids that came to school before everybody else. And first and second graders were sat together on the same side of the cafeteria. So I was just sitting there minding my own business, eating my cinnamon toast crunch for breakfast, which they always serve for breakfast if you don't want anything else there. And a second grader who was seated next to me randomly asked me, "Are you Dora?" I was almost too stunned to speak. I answered, "No." And they had the nerve to ask, "Are you Dora's cousin?" That day emotionally and physically hurt me so much that, as you see, I remember it so vividly. And this is the reason I'm scared of getting haircuts. Ah yes, a lot of people have been getting a lot of Dora haircuts, and that same goes to me too. it's terrifying, but yeah. One time when I was like 3, my uncle took me and my cousins to the water park. I decided to stumble over the side for big kids because I wanted to be cool. I almost drowned. My cousin ran to get me a towel and get me out of the water. I'm okay now. Hey, glad to hear that you're okay now. Okay, so in the 4th, 5th grade, I was crushing on this guy, but like crushing hard. My ex-best friend ended up telling him. Then another friend did, and then another friend also. Bro, I got rejected 3 times by the same time. Where is he now? He eventually switched schools and we're both now in the 6th grade. We don't have contact at all, and neither does his friends. Well, shucks, I have no comment. Okay, me and my mom saw a ghost together once. We were walking back from a party at 10 p.m. So we were going through the entrance of my apartment complex, and my mom told me to step aside because cars were driving through. I stepped on the grassy area and I looked over to my side and I saw what appeared to be a man wearing a hoodie with a hood over his head. But soon I realized that the man wasn't walking, that he was hovering over the ground. I got really scared and I pointed to where the man was and my mom looked over. When my mom looked over to the man, he turned into a little black spear and he disappeared into the ground. I ran away and I got into my apartment first. While I was waiting for my mom, I was starting to think that I was just seeing things. But when my mom got inside the apartment, she asked me if I saw it too. I almost pissed myself. For a while, that strange figure kept following me and my mom everywhere. I kept seeing it and my mom kept experiencing paranormal things, like things falling over and things flying across the room and doors opening by themselves. My mom scared the evil figure away by using her scary mom voice. Ever since she used her scary mom voice, we haven't experienced any paranormal activity. Wow, that's shivering me timbers, huh? Yeah, I know I suck. On like 2 different occasions, me and my best friend saw this guy at our school who wasn't wearing pants and was just wearing boxers. Our school literally has a uniform and we have no idea how this kid never got some freaking pants. That reminds me of some character, huh? But seriously, what the heck? Okay, so my dad had left for a vacation and had just come home. I was probably around 5 or 6 at this point. My dad walked in and my sister went to give him a hug. I stood behind her when she suddenly kicked her leg up behind her and it smashed right into my face. I literally went flying into a wall and 2 of my teeth fell out. One of them only half fell out, so I had half a tooth. Anyways, about a year late, it was hurting so badly. So we went to the dentist and got it removed. It only started growing back about 5 years later. Wow. No comment on that. Just wow. And ouch. Okay, so I have multiple stories, so I'll give you all of them in different replies. This one time, me and my family were in Redondo Beach in LA. Note, my dad loves, and I mean loves, teaching me and my brother how to jump over waves. So I've been in the deep end of the sea even before I was tall enough. I was an ant compared to how deep the water was, dude. So this one time, my dad brought me to the deep end so we can jump over waves. This one wave was completely huge and terrifying. I was terrified because even I knew I wouldn't make it, but my dad tried making me jump. Note, I was tall enough to jump over it, by the way. And the wave ended up knocking my head and I passed out and fell into the sea. Next thing I know, my grandma is carrying me by her side to get me stay out of the water. For the rest of the trip, I just stayed with my brother and cousin trying to make sand castles. So yeah, that's the story of how I almost drowned. I just have one thing to say about this. Ouch. Another story of how my brother fractured his ankle. Okay, so there's this one time where once my mom tried taking her driver's test and to celebrate and let her practice, we went to go to Polywalk Park. My little brother brought his scooter because he wanted to try it out. My mom asked if I could take care of my brother before he hits his head. Irony. I know, right? So I did. The moment I reached my little brother, I see him lying on the ground crying. I called my mom over and she saw. We called an ambulance. We went to the Gardena hospital. We went to hospital. We figured out that his bone was weird since he was born. In fact, it's very possible I also have a weird bone in my ankle as well. Basically, the bone in my brother's ankle is slightly bent and can easily break. So it's a good thing that it did break because now my brother's body can realize, oh crap, that's a problem. So it can fix that problem. So yeah, he had to wear a cast and use crutches for over 3 months. Double ouch. This is how I gave my brother a concussion and stitches. This one time, me and my little brother were running around the house. I think I was like 7 and he was 3. And we were just running around the house. He was chasing me. I closed the door on him and I didn't realize it. But right when he was trying to open it back up, he hit his side of his head on the doorknob and passed out. blood was everywhere, dude. Next thing you know, my dad has to rush my brother to the hospital and I get yelled at before he goes even though I didn't really even realize he was still behind me. I thought he was asleep on the bed, dude. He was still chasing me. So then my dad took my brother to the hospital to get stitches and I stayed home with my mom and watched TV until he came back. And again, no comment. I was in the school cafeteria last year and when I was helping my teacher in the cafeteria, I coughed. So then after I coughed the smallest cough, the teacher said, "Shush, people are eating." And the cafeteria was loud as heck and I was like, and the next day someone coughed in the kitchen and since I was helping out again, I noticed that. But I also noticed they didn't get scolded, so I was about to pass away because they also coughed on the food. I was so terrified I kind of passed out since I'm a germaphobe. But I restricted myself from passing away because I knew I had to do my job to help. But then they coughed again into their hand and I was like, "Hey, isn't that a bit unsanitary?" And they looked at me and I saw snot all over their face. Ew. And they said, "What?" And I instantly rushed out of the kitchen and pretended I need to go to the bathroom because why? Why? What the? What? What the? Ew. Okay, dude, it's. I'm so exhausted right now after reading all those comments, and it's like 6 in the morning. Yeah, I really need to go sleep. Yeah, goodbye. Have a nice day, night, or whatever. Yeah.